Good afternoon, everybody, or whatever time of day it is where you are. I thought I would do something different, and I thought I would post on YouTube my analysis for next week, seeing that I don't generally pay much attention to my YouTube channel. So here I am, and here we are. We're going to do a little bit of an analysis for next week on the three things that matter to me, at least, which are QQQ, IWM, and SPY. Thought we would kick it off with QQQ. And we'll just go from there. Okay, so this is QQQ on the 1 hour time frame. We do have pre-market data enabled. I am a big pre-market data believer. Some people don't. I do use it. So looking at this, we do look like we have topped a little bit and we are now coming down. We ended the day on Friday with a bit of a bear flag. If you look here, we see that little bit of a bear flag that formed in the after hours trading session. And we actually, using my autocorrelation oscillator, we actually did see it flash a continuation to the downside right when it tried to push back up. It did flash on the 1 hour for a continuation down, which we did see follow through. And yeah, so I am expecting Monday to open on a little bit of a gap down. The reason being, not so much QQQ, but SPY, and we will get into it. But let us first talk about what to expect. So for next week, let's just take a quick look at the Monday trading range, which is the anticipated close range is between 375 and 382 for Monday, with the probability that we close within that range being around 78%. Okay, so our high targets for Monday include our 379, 382, and 385. And our low targets are 377, 374, and 371. Now, I do expect us, like I said, to gap down into Monday. And from there, I expect a continuation to around the 374 to 371 mark before we would see a little bit of a bouncing. Now, I don't think that we have topped. Now, if we look at QQQ on the 3-month, so these are our 3-month levels. If you look here, if we just like zoom in on the, actually let's do the 1 hour. Let's just zoom in on the shorter time frame. So our 3-month high is, our first target is 396 followed by 406. Now we did break below the bullish threshold, which is right here. You see we held the bearish threshold. So now that we've broke below this bullish threshold, we could expect a retest all the way down to 363. Now we need to see 363 maintained. Because maintaining 363 is the condition for us to reach up to these high targets. So maintaining 363 and breaking back over this bull threshold at 376 will actually fulfill the statistical conditions to bring us to 406. Okay, so this is what you should be plotting if you are a QQQ trader and or investor. You would want to plot these levels here, 363 and 376, because these are the levels that are going to tell us what we are going to anticipate, essentially going into the next 3 months, right? So this is the 3-month. We just started the 3-month period, so we still have 3 months. So we have time to reach these targets, and sometimes it's more convincing than others. If we look at our previous 3-month period, we did play around a lot with this bearish threshold that did pretend to break below. We did break back over, and we just sort of went right for these high targets, right? Kind of the same situation as this month. We just sort of bounced around on the bearish threshold and then broke the bullish, and we went right to these high targets. Now, you do see that it does like to retest the bullish threshold, which we are seeing here. It's not all that great that it broke below it, but it's not too concerning because, again, it doesn't affirm bearishness until it breaks below 363. Once it breaks below 363, then our move is going to be around 338 to the downside, okay, if we hold below this level. Now, if we want to take a look at the weekly range, let's just plop us over to the 1 week period. We're going to flip this over to 1 week, and I believe I'm going to have to change the parameters. This is a new invention. I haven't really, it seems to be somewhat close to my more advanced stuff, so I'm just sort of using this as a cheat. But essentially what it's saying, our close range, yeah, this is too much. We're going to have to narrow this down. All right, so our anticipated close range is 368 to 390. Probability we stay within that range is 82%, and our weekly high targets are 381, 388, and 396. And our weekly low targets are 374, 368, and 361, with the corresponding probability of being hit listed here. This is just based on previous hits. It's not an actual probability assessment, so I wouldn't go by these numbers. This is a pretty persuasive number, though, the probability that we have previously closed in predicted ranges. So that's pretty good. So we can expect to close between there. But I think that's it's a pretty wide range, but it's a normal range for tech, to be honest. So those are our weekly levels to watch for QQQ. Now, if we want to just pop on over to SPY. So SPY, we can get into why I'm expecting us to gap down. But first, let's just take a look where we left off. Let's flip over to the 1 hour. It's really pretty similar to QQQ. It's not crazy different. We did leave off on a bear flag, which does lead me to believe that we are going to gap down. It does look kind of like a pennant, maybe. Who knows? It doesn't really matter because there are mathematical reasons why I think this pennant really just doesn't matter, and I will get into it. But if you want to just conceptualize it this way, you can see that we have this pennant and we started to break down, right? So we should expect this flush to continue to around 449 on Monday. Now, why I'm thinking 449 on Monday, if we look at these targets, so these are 99% target, well, 93% target. So there's a 93% chance we hit these targets within 5 days. And there is about a 76% chance that we hit them the same day. So there is a kind of a little back test here. It's very limited because it only spans back, I think, 100 candles. So we can see like our late hit success, which is 5-day success, is around 90%, and our daily success is around 76%. Backtesting this in R and Excel, the actual full results are around 93%. So if we take a look at these levels, we have an unhit level here, and we have two unhit levels here. Now, one is a write-off. It is a fail, just an altogether fail. That's this one. This one was 448. We should have hit this one by Friday, which we did not. So this one is a write-off. However, this one here, we have till Monday to hit, and that's at 449.55. So there's a 93% chance that by Friday we should be seeing 449.55. Those are pretty good odds. If we do open fairly flat, which I really don't think is going to happen, this would be a very clean day trade. Otherwise, I do expect us to like gap down to like 450 something, and then we just like flush right to it. So then it gets choppy and annoying. All of the good moves lately have been happening pre-market, and it's really annoying for day traders like me. So that's what I'm expecting. However, we do have an unhit target up here at 454.63. Now, this one has till Thursday to hit. So we have till Thursday to hit 454.63. And from there, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. But we have till Thursday to hit 454.63. And that is why we should see really great movement up and down. Okay, so we should be seeing some pretty good movement all around. If we take out 449.55, there is a chance that we actually go a bit lower, depending on the overall sentiment. I do think that the market is going to try to shake out people and make it think that it's topped, and sort of reaffirm people who have been bearish all through this bull market, sort of reaffirm that sentiment for them, being like, this is it, it's over. So because of that, if we want to take a look at SPY on the 3-month, this is what I'm watching very closely. So if we look at SPY on the 3-month, let's just move all of this, and let's just get rid of these. So if we look here, this is SPY on the 3-month. This was our bullish threshold, and this was our bearish threshold. As with QQQ, SPY held the bearish threshold and bounced. We did a nice double bottom off the bearish threshold. We broke right through this bullish threshold, and now we are heading up. So what I'm actually really expecting is for this to at least retest the bullish threshold at 446, right? That's what I want to see. I want to see us come down and retest 446. And if we could flush to 446 this week, which I think there's a high possibility that we flush to 446 this week, with FOMC coming out and all of the news and catalysts, with all of that, I do think there's a nice high probability chance that we flush down to this level. And if we can hold this level and bounce, then the expected move for this 3-month period is to 464. Okay, so statistically, if we fulfill those conditions, we have statistically met the conditions to reach 464. Okay, now of course anything can derail this, right? These are just based on historic behavior. If we meet this condition, we come down, test this, and bounce, and then like halfway through our bounce up, a recession is announced, or some kind of nuclear attack, or just some kind of catastrophe is announced, then obviously boom, it's over, right? But we can't control for an alleged black swan event when there's really none in the foreseeable future except a recession, right? But because we've been talking about a recession for so long, I actually don't even understand how the market is going to appraise this, right? We're in very new circumstances. Germany announced a recession at the beginning of 2023, and its market still kept going up. It's because all of this talk about recessions, it's really quite... I think the market is just like becoming immune to it, but the market does what it wants. Sometimes it pretends that it's shocked by news and just does random things. Other times it's so unfazed, right? So I'm not really sure how the whole recession thing is going to affect the market, psychologically speaking, but as of right now, those are the math conditions that we would need to see for it to achieve that target, right? If we break below this and come down to 437, then I'd be looking for 437 for support. However, if we do break this and come down, I would be a little concerned. I would be a little bit more bearish. So if we break below this and start heading down, I would be thinking that we're probably going to try to break the bearish threshold and head down to the bearish target at 415. Okay, and again, these are 3-month targets. So that's more of a longer term look, but I just think that you should be paying attention to this. So those levels to watch if you are a SPY trader and or investor are 446.91, that is our bullish threshold, and 437.21, which is our bearish threshold, okay? So that is that. Now if we go ahead and look at our daily range, let's take a look at the daily range for SPY for Monday. So if we look here, we do have a close range between 450 and 455, with the probability that we close in that range being 78%, okay? Our high targets are listed here, so essentially 454, which is actually one of those high probability targets, and 456 are the two high targets you should be watching. I'm not really concerned that we're going to hit those. The ones that I am watching are 450 and 448, right? So these are the ones that I'm anticipating on Monday. I'm actually kind of expecting us just to gap down to around the 450 and then probably flush through to the 448, hopefully, ideally, right? Because that's just what we talked about, and that's what I would like to see, and then eventually lead to the 446. Where I would absolutely hard long at this point is 446. That is the level I'm watching. That if we hold 446, that is the level that I am just longing and with no fear at that point, right? If we want to look on the weekly range, let's see what this says about the weekly range. So our weekly range is 439 to 459, which is pretty close to what my models had predicted as well. I don't think there's really any reason for me to go over that because this is actually pretty on point with what that's predicting. So 439 to 459. Our high targets for the week are 450, 456, and 463. 463 was not showing in my model. It capped our high target at around 459, 457-ish, between 457 and 459. And then our low targets are 447, 440, and 434. Again, this is a little lower than what my R model is saying, which was around the lowest is what was it? 440, 440-ish. But it's pretty close, right? These levels are appropriate. So the probability that we close the week between 439 and 459 is around 82%. So that's pretty high odds, but it's actually a pretty big range, right? It's about a 20-point range. But again, that's been the S&P lately for the past over a year, right? We've had these wild swings and wild ranges. So that's just been the reality of the situation, and yeah. So that is SPY. Now, the one interesting thing about SPY, before I forget, this just reminded me, you see on the autocorrelation oscillator, we are actually starting to get overbought, right? And if we look in previous instances where we got overbought, you see these flushes that happened. So we started getting overbought here, but we did push before actually flushing down. So it just depends on how long this lasts, right? So this started, for example, this one here, it started December 2019, and it didn't resolve until February of 2020, right? This one started in April of 2019, and it didn't get resolved until May of 2019, right? So these can prolong themselves, but it is something that we need to pay attention to, right? This kind of overbought, because we can still push, and then finally resolve it. Looking at everything, I am always generally bearish. I kind of resign myself to being more of a bull lately, but I am starting to get a little bit more bearish now. Just sort of seeing the price action and how kind of ridiculous it is. I am sort of leaning back to being particularly bearish. So those are my thoughts on that. Now let us go to the last ticker I want to take a look at, which is IWM. So if we look at IWM, it just had a crazy week last week. Just a crazy week. It was just absolutely nuts. I did have a pretty sizable stop out on IWM last week just because of this whole ridiculous nonsense that it did. We ended up getting rejected at some technical resistance, actually. So we had this year-long technical resistance right here. We did try to break back over, and then it rejected, right? So it's great to see that hold up, because resistance doesn't seem to be holding this market back. So I was short on this push, and I was kind of expecting it just to break out and just go parabolic, right? Because that's just the thing of 2023, right? Who cares about upside resistance? Just break through it and continue going. But it did actually get rejected. It was really refreshing to see finally some kind of respecting of something bearish, right? Because it's just been all about bullishness lately. Anyway, so that's what happened. The move, if we're just judging by technical levels, which I never do, but if we were to do that, the move is down back down to the 170s, right, to complete this sort of like wedge pennant thing that's forming. However, if you know me, you know I don't care. I want to see what the math says. So let's take a look, first of all. Actually, you know what? Let's just take a look at, we do have 93% targets on IWM. So let's take a look at IWM's 93% targets, okay? So the outstanding target for it was so bullish, it missed this one completely. So this one was 190. It should have been hit by Friday, which we didn't hit. This one is 193.09, and that should be hit by Monday. So the move with the gap down is we should be seeing IWM come down to this level, 193.12 by Monday, which I think will probably just gap down to that level. If not, this would be a perfect day trade, right? Just get that flush right down to 193.12. There are no upside GTs on or 99% on IWM as of now. I don't know what the weeklies are going to show, but as of right now, there's no reason for this to go back up. We do have that really strong resistance that I showed you that it rejected. So at this point, I'm looking down, down, down unless we find some support somewhere. But let's just take a look at what the forecast is. So let's go ahead and look at our Monday levels. So looking at the daily levels for IWM, we have an expected range of 193 to 197, with the probability we close in that range being 78%. Our high targets are 195, 196, and 198. Our low targets are 194, 193, and 192. So as you know, I'm expecting that 193 because why? Because of that 93% target, right? So I am expecting to move down to the 193 low target on Monday, and that's about that for IWM. If we want to take a look at the weekly range for IWM, our weekly range for IWM is an anticipated close range of between 185 and 197, with the probability we close within that range being 76%. Our high targets are 192, 195, and 199, and our low targets are 190, 186, and 182. Okay? And I don't have 3-month levels to talk about for IWM. I should probably do them. Maybe in the next video I will have those. But as of right now, those are my thoughts on the market and for next week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if like YouTube is something that you want more analysis on or less. I don't know. I'm trying not to neglect all of these things that I have, that I try to commit myself to, but I just, you know, things happen. So anyway, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Take care. As always, trade safe. Leave your questions, comments below, or reach them over on TradingView, and I will hopefully respond to them. Safe trades. Take care.